Here's a detailed breakdown of how Donald Trump came to publicly acknowledge that he cannot seek a third presidential term, what the legal basis is, and why the decision is now prominent. 1. The legal basis. The 22nd Amendment. The Constitution's 22nd Amendment states, "No person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice." Congress.gov. It clearly prohibits someone who has already been elected president twice from being elected again. The Washington Post. Because Trump has already served 2 terms, 2017 to 2021 and 2025, the amendment prevents him from being elected president a 3rd time. The Guardian. #2. How Trump found out publicly ignomit. In late October 2025, during a trip to Asia, Japan, South Korea, Trump was asked aboard Air Force One whether he would run for a 3rd term. He responded, "If you read it, it's pretty clear I'm not allowed to run. It's too bad." AP News, parallel to this, the Mike Johnson, Speaker of the U.S. House, said he had talked to Trump about the constitutional constraints and added, "I don't see a way to amend the Constitution because it takes about 10 years. Reuters. So the finding out is not so much new information, but the public confirmation. Trump is now explicitly saying he understands the constitutional bar, even if he once floated the idea of a 3rd term. 3. Context. Trump previously floated a 3rd term. Earlier in 2025, Trump had said in a March interview, "There are methods, you could do it." He did not rule out a 3rd term. People.com. Legal scholars pushed back hard, calling notions of a loophole for a 3rd term implausible and against the clear intent of the amendment. Factcheck.org. In other words, for some time Trump toyed publicly with the idea. The amendment stood in the way. Now he's publicly conceding or at least acknowledging the limitation. Not 4. Why the acknowledgement matters. The fact that Trump is publicly saying he can't run for a 3rd term removes some ambiguity and speculation. The constitutional barrier is now in the open. It also impacts how his allies, just his political brand, and his campaign might pivot if his aim was to remain in power beyond a 2nd term. It clarifies that any serious move for a 3rd term would necessitate one of these. 1. A constitutional amendment, very long, difficult. Reuters 2. A legal reinterpretation, very unlikely, scholars say. Factcheck.org. The acknowledgement also helps frame his previous 3rd term talk as more symbolic, strategic, or rhetorical, rather than imminently actionable. Yes! #5. Open questions and implications. Could this be related to concerns about his mental cognitive state, e.g. a dementia test? From what I found, there's no direct link made in the sources between Trump's acknowledgement of not being able to run again and any dementia or cognitive testing. His acknowledgement is framed entirely in constitutional and legal terms, 22nd Amendment, not health or capacity. Could this decision feed into impeachment or other legal avenues? The acknowledgement itself does not appear to trigger impeachment. Impeachment is about high crimes and misdemeanors under the Constitution, not eligibility to run again. However, the broader context, if one argued abuse of power or attempts to undermine constitutional limits, could become part of legal or political arguments. What if he tried anyway? Legal scholars warn that any attempt to run would face immediate constitutional challenge. The Washington Post. The road to amending the Constitution is long. Must pass 2/3 of both houses of Congress and 3/4 of state legislatures. The Washington Post.